trap is still monkey. We get all of these hundreds, hit up the hood pharmacist. He serve all the money. Why shoot at your buddy? You shot at my buddy. The sky keep on falling. The drug keep on calling. Yeah, that's that loud shit. Yeah, I've been out on my latest trip. I've been drunk in my latest beer. So I might crash and ask for real. Hit the club for the cookies. I never got down with the Moors or Martin Luther. I'm just trying to ball while these niggas want me to. Got it down to a draw, trying to get a little duder. They just wanna hang like my nigga Mr. Cooper. I'm so ahead of my time. Could I show a bitty suit? They said I fucked the roommates. All you know that just a rumor. Have you ever got some with your motherfucking jeweler? Skylar Flater, Rick the ruler. Yeah, I don't wanna buy no more. Your shit ain't getting me high no more. My trap is still bunky. You get all of these hundreds, might jump with no bungee. I'm going off that muddy. The drugs, I'm trapped in my conscience. My trap is still wonky. You get all of these hundreds, might jump with no bungee. Get lost in the muddy. I might shoot at your buddy who shot at my buddy. Was it love if you love me? And the sky keep on calling, the drugs I keep calling. They keep picking up for me and love me. I don't wanna buy no more. Your shit ain't getting me high no more. I'm trapped in my conscience. My trap is still bunky. Look at all of these hundreds, might jump with no bungee. I'm going off that muddy. The drugs keep on calling, the sky keep on falling.
The drug keep on calling. The sky keep on falling. The drug keep on calling. The sky keep on falling. The drug keep on calling. The sky keep on falling. The sky keep on falling. The drug keep on calling. The sky keep on falling. The sky keep on falling. The drug keep on calling. The sky keep on falling. Look me inside of my eyes. All of this paper I'm trying to disguise.
Today, we're going to talk about Monday Night Football, NHL with Chelly, and of course, the BTL squad ride. This is Behind the Lines. Well, Chad, I thought we were going to get through an entire football game without Jalen Hurts doing something stupid, but then he did this. How are people still in on the Eagles? It makes no sense. This team is a fraud. Jalen Hurts is a fraud. Sirianni's a fraud. This defense is bad. Jalen Hurts has lost a step. He had one good season. Be realistic. This guy's a pick machine. He's inaccurate, and he's not a great passer. Jalen Hurts is a fraud, and so are the Eagles. Go ahead and give me the Rockies on the ML. And I want to fade Arizona once again. No chance they lose a second game in a row to the Rockies, right? No chance.
Snell's locked in, Krabs. The Orioles bats are awful. We're taking it. More so just to make dudes pissed off, really, is why I'm taking it.
I mean, gentlemen, the White Sox are 35-115. They've won 10% of their games for the season in the last 3 fucking games. Whoever is in charge of that squad, organization, program, minor leagues, major leagues, should be fired and not allowed in the sport ever again.
Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping up since my mama stayed in them apartments, regardless.
What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Monday, episode 560 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your 2 hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by SeatGeek. If you're going to a game this weekend, maybe you're looking at ticket prices for Baltimore versus Washington this weekend. They're astronomically high. But if you buy them on SeatGeek and use the promo code Bookit, they're a little bit cheaper. Okay, get your tickets on SeatGeek this weekend. Maybe you're lucky enough to have your baseball team still playing right now. Buy your tickets on SeatGeek. Use promo code Bookit. Hit the profile in the bottom right corner of the app. Type in the promo code. It's the first thing that pops up. It takes 3 seconds to save you guys some coins. Okay? Buy your tickets on SeatGeek. Let's move. Let's groove. Jovan, how we doing? Happy Monday. I'm in mood shit because my plays this weekend fucking stunk, mainly just yesterday. But I would love for you to keep the vibes up and maybe talk about Cal a little bit here to get the vibes up and get the party started.
I mean, W wager. I've said before we talk about that, that was a historic time that you snuck the Commanders in at the start of the show. That was, sure. I mean, maybe some of your best work. It was under 3 seconds. That was, I gotta tip the cap for that one. But yeah, I mean, I can't be too happy because I should have won that game. I would have been drowning in more units, but the cover was never a sweat, so can't complain too much.
Sure. Brock says it doesn't matter. Commanders are so back. You know what? You're right. That's the mindset I need to have today. Throw out all those terrible wagers from yesterday. I believe I went 1-7 in NFL plays this week. That includes Thursday night. That includes, all the primetime games for this week. But that is unacceptable. That is a mooshit week. That just took all the profits I had from the NFL every single week, where I've not lost coins a single week in the NFL up to this point, and threw all those profits out the window. So we've got some work to do tonight. We've got some work to do this week, gents. Got to lock back in and hit some plays. Okay, Saturday went pretty well. We'll talk about it here in a moment. For now, Jovan, we got a hype train moving and grooving. Okay, let's shout out some goats real quick. Aris came in, gave out 5 subbies at the end of TMA. W. Aris, not letting that one get swept. And if you guys missed TMA earlier today, you can always go back and rewatch on the YouTube as well. W. Mike, W. Joshy. We've also got Lieutenant Goose coming in, resubbing during BTL. Love to see that. What's up, Goose? C. Graham coming in as well, resubbing. Remy Lowe coming in hot. Need a style on the diamond. Yes, sir, Remy Lowe. You resub for 26 months, my man. We can do that. We can get surgical on the diamonds. Okay, we'll lock in. A lot to talk about today. We're going to get Chelly on here in about 15 minutes as well to talk about some NHL futures, his prize picks goat whale, and maybe even some early looks at tomorrow's games. Okay, so stick with us. We're obviously going to talk about Monday Night Football and the 2 MLB postseason games on later today as well. All right, a lot to go over. Why don't we go ahead and hop into some of these recaps here, gents, and hit the weekend squad rides, which were pretty good. We'll take that 2-1. Okay, fuck the Browns, fuck Deshaun Watson. He's a pervert and sucks a QB now, although his team is maybe even worse. Jovan, great call on Syracuse, great call on Cal. The floor is yours. Great fucking plays on Friday and Saturday, man. Great plays.
I mean, should have been 2 outright winners. I mean, hand up on the Browns. It wasn't your wager. That was mine. That was god-awful game. Q's came through late, won the game. Cal blows 25-point lead. But if you ever thought there are people in this chat that every single time we brought this game up, or I brought this game up, it was Miami in a rout, Miami by 17, Miami by 1,000,000. They're going to roll in this game. If you thought Miami was winning by double digits, consider another profession or something, because that was never happening. But they should have lost that game outright. Unfortunate choke, but we take Cal plus 10.5 in a heartbeat. Krabs muted rumors. Wrap this.
Great call. That's why you take the points. Sometimes you need them. And on Saturday, we did, along with Friday. Yesterday, the Browns, they're just actually terrible. And their team literally gave up after like 3 drives. It was sad to watch, honestly. I thought I was watching the Commanders as the Browns and a good team as the Commanders. It was something I've never really experienced before in my life. That was awesome. But the Browns was a no shit wager. We got to move on. Okay, it's time to stop fading the Commanders. I think they might be, like I mentioned this past week, one of those teams you just put off to the side. Kind of reminds me of the Bengals when Joe Burrow was a rookie and the books could not get a hold on him. The public still bet him and everybody cashed, and the books just could not keep up. Maybe the Commanders are that team this year. Maybe Jaden Daniels is just built different. I don't know, but that guy looks like a fucking beast. Even, had a pick, had a couple bad throws, couple overthrows. I don't care. Still looks like a top 5 QB in the NFL right now, 5 games in. Unbelievable. Unbelievable what we're witnessing. It's insane. So we'll take that brown chip bet. We'll throw it out the window. The Commanders are them, and we move. What else we got?
He also had solid, 80 rushing yards from Jaden?
Dude,
love that.
And he doesn't even try to run.
That's the thing. It's so easy for him, dude.
It's crazy.
So, if he actually, because at LSU, there were designed runs, and, his job was to get down the field and actually, be a part of the rushing attack. He just runs, when he has no other choice, and he gets an easy, 10 yards whenever he wants. It's
yeah.
It's absurd. And then he had, the one long run that got him down for, 30 yards near the goal line-ish or whatever, and that was just, it didn't even look like he was trying.
Dude, imagine when we play an actual good team and he's going to have to scramble a little bit when their D-line's actually getting some pressure. I mean, I cannot expect our O-line to play this well the entire season as well. They're playing like a top 5 O-line. It's crazy. But imagine when we're playing a good team towards the end of the season, or maybe even come playoff time. I really don't want to get there yet, but let's talk about it here. They play a good team, and, some of these easy routes where guys like Luke McCaffrey, guys like Terry are wide fucking open, making plays, doing their jobs. Not as, not as frequent. Jaden's going to start just taking off and running. He really hasn't even had to do that much yet this season, but when he does, it looks so easy and like he's running in slow motion. I heard a quote during the game. Apparently his college coach used to yell at him because he thought he was just running at half speed, but it just does look that easy for Jaden Daniels out there. and he really hasn't had to lean on his legs much at all this season. Imagine when he does. It's going to be unbelievable what we have, the options. The guy can slice and dice through the air. People were saying the guy can't throw against man defense. Watch that game last night.
Yeah,
Watch that game.
He struggled at the beginning,
He looked
finding
great.
some efficiency wise, and then he just figured it out in
He locked
2
in.
seconds.
He locked the fuck in. He ran over, yelled at Cliff Kingsbury. Sorry, Goots, 1 second. Yelled at Cliff and said, "Yo, they're running man. Let's throw a bomb." De'Ami Brown wide open in the fucking end zone. Good to see he's still up and moving.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. Is like Cliff giving him the reins to the offense, like in some type of way. Like shout out Cliff for that. Like that's incredible
5 games
stuff.
in.
Yeah,
because this guy is him. You can already tell. You can already tell he's going to be a staple in the NFL for the next decade and a half. I've never been able to experience something like this before. I'm blessed. The plays might have sucked. Fading the Commanders was stupid. But my goodness, we got our guy. And I cannot be more stoked about that. Let's move and groove before I talk about the Commanders anymore. Why don't we talk about the 5 guys lineup? God damn it, Jovan. The 5 guys lineup.
Look at you. I'm not going to act like we know he would have got it anyway because the game script was not necessarily there, even though they're running the ball. But I would have loved to see Ollie Gordon get a full game with ACL intact and have a shot at least. That one kind of hurt.
Yeah.
I felt pretty confident in what was going to happen through the NFL slate.
Sure. I mean, clearly. Look at these plays. Gosh, man, the Prize Pick squares were so good on Sunday. They were so fucking sharp. Ollie Gordon, L game script. Didn't even play in the 4th. Cost us serious coins. Serious coins. Brutal.
Rat.
Brutal. We move. Still paid out 2x, I believe. So if you guys tailed, you at least got some coins there. But
Hail Mary couldn't get paid,
better.
but at least we got a little 2x. I feel like anytime we do that, whether it's Hail Mary or 5 guys, when we did that last year, it always followed with a full cash next week.
Okay.
Something. So maybe that's
let's
maybe
hope
that's a
we
good
fucking
sign.
follow that up again. Yeah, let's run it back. Well, we'll talk about the Hail Mary here in a moment. I'm going to save that one. W gatekeeping. Why don't we move and groove onto the meat sheets? We'll take a peep at those. Not our best work this weekend. Prize Pick squares on Saturday were great. The Prize Pick squares on Sunday were okay. Straight bets on Saturday, okay. Straight bets on Sunday, moose. Terrible. Vikings team total under. I mean, they don't get that pick 6. That's smacks. That's the easiest play on the board. And I'm $1,000 richer because I nuked it sneakily and it was kick. The Jets plus 2.5. That was a moose play as well. Browns, terrible. Under in Carolina, Chicago, maybe the worst bet of the day. Buffalo, Houston, over. That one probably should have hit. Jags, ML. I mean, that got up to minus 200, and that's the only green check mark up there. That is embarrassing. Yeah,
we got some
Bengals. I don't even know what to say about the fucking Bengals, man. I don't even know what to say.
No one wants to listen to Goots, man.
Goots, don't.
Goots,
even,
we can't even say
time.
you can't say anything about that.
Read the room, Goots. Read it.
And yeah, Kyler also was 1.5, so that's an extra. Somebody pointed out in chat. It's an extra green square on the bottom there for you, Krabs.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good call there. Either way, still moose and not our best work. I know we've had some good meat sheets the last 2-3 weeks in a row. We were due for a bad one, but we need to bounce back and spend some extra time on that this weekend. Plain and simple. Okay. Bengals plus 3. Yep, that paid. If you guys got a good number, we'll talk about that here in a moment. How about the college football NFL weekend previews? Let's take a peep at those. Not good enough. I went 3 for 4 on Prize Pick squares. The straight bets were fucking terrible. Although on Saturday, my straight bets I locked in college were actually pretty good. We made some coins. But Sunday was moose. Absolutely atrocious. Only winner on there was the Jags. Got to be better. Got to be better.
I went with like just below average 3 and 4 on each one, which is not great. I won't have a bitching session for this, but I don't know if you saw the demon entry, Krabs.
Dude.
In the quail.
Amari Cooper.
I mean, there's that one on Sunday, and then Saturday I got like 4 of 6. I mean, Ott wasn't close, but we had like Giles Jackson get 2 yards off of like 5K. So maybe another sign, just like the Hail Mary and the 5 guys, we're getting damn close, and next weekend's the week.
Sure. Well, I hope you're right, and we'll spend some extra time making sure we love our winners for this weekend, giving the people some more green check marks and less red X's. Plain and simple.
Just a goal.
Plain and simple. All right. NFL ATTSs. I mean, I didn't even want to pull this up. So fucking terrible.
Yeah,
So terrible.
Quail.
I mean, ETN is about to lose his starting job as he should. Brandon Ayuk had an unbelievable game and could not find the end zone. Javonte Williams,
I
same
did
boat.
sneak Ayuk in an entry from you Krabs. Not the touchdown, but I did tail that, and he did go off. So I will give you credit for that.
He fucking tweaked. He absolutely tweaked, but did not find pay dirt. Could not find the end zone. Brutal. And then Javonte Williams had a great day as well. Could not find the end zone. Could not score for the first time this season. Travis Etienne, I don't even want to talk about that guy. He's in the fucking doghouse. Get him out of here.
Doghouse.
Get him out. God damn it. I love those ATTSs this weekend as well. I bet them all for $100. They lost. Moose.
Yes, Moose.
Unbelievable. King of the board giveaway. Let's bring the vibes back up here as we finish up the recaps and give away some coins for probably the worst king of the board I've ever seen in my life. I went 0 for 5. 0 and 5. Jovan, you hit 1.
Yeah, I can't even celebrate a win. Especially, you know what hurts, Krabs? That the win was fucking Houston scoring points on TCU. Which, don't even get me started.
Houston?
Don't even get me started talking about that shit program in Fort Worth pissing me off because they're terrible. I don't think there was a more obvious thing that was going to happen this week than TCU giving up points and eventually losing outright, which I didn't think it was going to happen, to a team that got shut out 2 weeks in a row. I mean, good God, dude.
That might be worse than the Vanderbilt loss, especially after what we saw Vanderbilt do this weekend.
No, that is 100%. 100%. It's not even close.
Just going to say it. Yeah. Oh, man. King of the board. This one hurts my heart because I love King of the board. You guys know I talk about it all the time. And honestly, my plays on King of the board are usually fucking stellar. Check the Carfax, check the data. Not this week. Not this week. Terrible. Atrocious. Some adjectives you use to describe these plays. Moose. Bad.
Maybe adjectives.
Losers.
Let's bring the vibes up. Give away some coin.
Fuck. Dudes, pick somebody to give away some coins and drop the milk emoji, will you?
Let me find a milk.
Give the people some damn coins.
Boom.
Jovan, great call on the Aggies as well. I don't want to harp too much on the losers. It was a tough weekend overall, but Saturday, at least the straight bets for me were fire. Sunday, I mean, I got absolutely destroyed yesterday. Destroyed.
Yeah, Saturday was
absolutely
okay.
killed.
Sunday was iffy at best.
Yeah, you had a good Saturday, and obviously your Cal play of the Millennium smack, so no qualms with you. Hype train moving and grooving as well, level 1. W.
Late night probably. Oh yeah, shout out to subbies, Aries, and I can't see who the other 5U was.
Oh shit, we got 5U whales. Aries and Big Baller coming in, dropping 5U whales. What's up, gents?
Yeah,
I did the refresh button there.
I don't know if I've ever been in more moose shit winning as much money as I did on Cal. Because they didn't win that game. Right. I would have owned Amazon if they won.
Colin Steele, shout out. Milk emoji.
Colin Steele.
Wow, W. Colin.
Carson Steele. Take a picture.
Steele.
Carson Steele, congratulations. You might not be playing. You might have lost your starting spot after that fumble last week, but you did get some free Prize Picks promo coins. Okay. DM us the email associated with the Prize Picks account on the Bookit BTL Twitter. If not, we'll reach out to you and we'll get that email. We'll put some coins in that account. All right. Let us know if you're in the chat right now. Is Carson Steele up and moving? I don't see him right now in the chat, though. Shout out Kobe as well, coming in, resubbing. Chigs 6'9" coming in. We're due for a Green Football Week. You're goddamn right we are. You're goddamn right we are. And W. Arias and Big Baller again as well for the 5-unit whales. You guys are fucking awesome. Awesome. And yeah, I would love to talk about some baseball as well. But before we do, why don't we just go ahead and talk about a little bit what we learned this weekend? Maybe we start with college football on Saturday and then do NFL and maybe some MLB postseason here too. I don't want to spend too much time on this. We've got Chelly marinating in the queue. We're going to get him on here in a couple minutes to go over NHL futures. W's chat. Get excited for some Chell hockey plays and angles. But first, Jovan, I want to ask you, what did we learn on Saturday? Anything?
You know, probably the most important thing I learned on Saturday, and I said this after week 1, and I'll be the first to say, after a couple weeks, I started kind of buying into what the narrative was, but sticking to what my guns were saying week 1, Connor Wigman is still very good. And the thing that I said after week 1, because he looked horrible against Notre Dame, people didn't realize or refused to realize he had the flu and was playing against a Notre Dame defense with an offense that is very complex and difficult to grasp. So he was terrible in that game, but I wanted to give him a pass for that, and it looks like I was kind of right to do that. Marcel Reed looked decent, and he really didn't have a chance to play like any good team since then, but I was a little surprised they went back to Wigman in such a big game as this Mizzou one was. But I can see why, because he looked fucking amazing. And that's not to give Mizzou a pass because they're frauds and they're terrible and they played terrible. The fact they came off a bye and looked this questionable is insane to me. But Connor Wigman is still very good. That Aggies team, you're going to see him in the playoffs. I stuck to what I said at the start of the year, and Notre Dame game's not going to push me off. That's a playoff team you're looking at. And that's a team that they have a lot of big games, or they have a lot of their games at home, which was the key to them all season. Connor Wigman's very good. So I'm still on that train. Okay. Then second thing I learned, who's not that guy, or second thing for college football, Nico. Not that guy. Not that guy at all. That Tennessee train is coming, I think, to a close. If we're talking about teams that I'm buying in on, not just for win-loss sake, it's obviously Texas A&M, but I was really disappointed. I thought Nico would show some fight. That Arkansas defense, I think, is really not very good, and they showed that they had Nico in hell. I don't know if it was Oklahoma showing their hand of how to get to him pressure-wise and give him some looks that became very, difficult for him to figure out, but he wasn't good. Dylan Sampson was good. That was about all the offense had for him, and now I've been waiting to see like the Nico breakout game that really impresses me because he's the guy that people have been slurping, all this beginning of the season. I haven't seen it, and I think I'm finally starting to say that's just who he is. It's like I'm, from a college football perspective, A&M up, Tennessee down, heavy.
Okay. I learned that Navy got absolutely hoed and should be ranked in the AP poll that released yesterday, and they are good at football. They destroyed Air Force on the road. I was sketched out about that game. Typically, when these military schools play each other, they're always very, very close games. I was surprised to even see the spread that big. I even said Air Force is probably the right play. Well, that was moose shit. Navy dominated once again. They won 34-7. This team should be ranked. They're undefeated. They're solid. They kept that DC after Coach Ken left to take over as the head coach. I didn't think that'd be good enough. It's clear the team rallied around him, and they've done a great job leaning on that defense. And also, they have a guy at QB in Blake Horvath, who I did not think was him the last couple seasons, but he's grown up immensely and played great so far this season. Very, very impressed with Navy, and they should have been ranked. They got hooked. Sunday, real quick, Jovan, one thing you learned about NFL on Sunday.
I'll give you 1.5 because I think you're about to talk about the half after this. But who the number 10 wide receiver is in fantasy right now?
Oh,
Brian Thomas Jr.
Wow.
Who is the absolute GOAT. And you look at numbers below him, I see right below him at like 11 through 20. I see Mike Evans, I see CeeDee Lamb, I see DJ Moore, I see Garrett Wilson. Brian Thomas is absolutely him. And this is adding to the fact that like he would lose volume if Evan Ingram is playing. But I think Evan Ingram being on the field makes his job a lot easier. And I think he's going to be even better when hopefully next week we see Evan Ingram come to and be a part of this offense. So the fact that he's doing this with, an offense that's struggling in general. I know they played good yesterday. They should have against the Colts defense that was depleted and just bad in general. He's putting up ridiculous numbers. And I know a lot of people are obsessed with Neighbors, but Brian Thomas is actually goated. So I'll stick to that for one. And then the half that you're about to touch on, Justin Fields had you all fooled, man. Had you all fooled. The Steelers are rat meat. You make Justin Fields throw the ball. He can't. That is a depleted Cowboys defense that they put up like 150 yards of total offense on. So I can lead you into that for your bitching.
Jutsi, run that shit. I thought we were getting a Hail Mary through the goddamn hoop, Jovan, and I was very, very incorrect. I could not have been more wrong. It was never the Steelers. It was never Justin Fields. It was never Pittsburgh, never Mike Tomlin, and it was never fading the Cowboys and fat-ass Mike McCarthy. I am absolutely bamboozled at what I witnessed last night. I was so hyped with the Steelers this entire season. I felt like it was a little bit different. I know their team always stinks, but they find ways to win games. But Justin Fields looks so good so far this season. But last night, we saw the real version of him. And we saw the reason why they're so excited to get Russ back in that lineup. Because Justin Fields is still not a winning QB in the NFL. And he's leaned on the defense. And look, they've had some great turnovers. They had 3 last night. and they still lost the game, and they blocked a field goal. I would love the stats, the record, to know teams who get 3 turnovers or they win the turnover margin 3-0, block a field goal and lose. It's got to be a handful of teams ever to lose in that case. That is absurd. How do you lose a game? I'll tell you why. It's because your offense fucking sucks. And that Steelers team stinks. Maybe it was the rain that fucked up the fields. I don't know. Maybe it was just Justin Fields getting overhyped and people getting excited a little ahead. Whatever it was cake. And that cost us a plus 750 Hail Mary because the Bengals pushed as well earlier in the day. But Jovan, man, that's on me. Got a little ahead of myself there with the Steelers. They are not the team we thought they were.
No.
Definitely not.
Not at all. That offensive performance, whether you want to blame it on Fields or the play calling or whatever, against the Cowboys defense missing a defensive player of the year is insane.
I mean, you can't script how they lost. And I know everybody on Twitter was saying, oh my God, I can't believe the Steelers blew that. The Steelers are lucky to even be within 3 points in that game, to be completely honest with you. I mean, the Cowboys almost 2x their yards, the Steelers, in this game. They had almost 500 yards. The Steelers barely even had like 250, if that, total. They're lucky to even be down 3 when that game ends. We're lucky it was even close. They even had a lead in this game. We shouldn't have even been close in this bet. They stink. And no, that game wasn't close. And no, the Steelers wasn't a bad beat. That was a bad bet.
No.
Bad bet.
100 yards. You got Rav calling him greatest defense of all time, giving up 100 yards damn near to Jalen Tolbert, man.
Oh, man. So here's what we're going to do. I mean, I deserve this 100% just for my Sunday plays in the NFL alone. I'm going to spin the damn wager wheel. We're going to get that wheel up and moving here. This is positive reinforcement here, or negative reinforcement, chat. Look it up. Google it. Okay. You have shit plays. You spin the wheel. Your plays are better the next week. It's simple math. All right. We're going to spin this wheel. We've got some pretty shitty options on here that either cost money or are going to embarrass us or make our lives worse. Okay. So we're going to spin this fucking wheel. I'm happy to take commands, and whatever it lands on, I will do, because my plays in the NFL yesterday were a fucking joke.
I feel like you need to adjust the options here.
We got buy into a break, 10 free throws in a row, 1 chip challenge, Judge Talk, Yankees World Series future, start Bryce Young in Fantasy Football League with Bookit, weekend stream, pop tab lineup. Oh, I don't know why I hate that one so much, dude. Win Natty as Deion Sanders. I kind of like those.
We do have one more spot.
Take off? Dude's is saying we got one more spot. Jovan, is there anything you wanted to add?
I don't know. I was just looking. I feel like Yankees World Series future doesn't hit as much anymore because it's actually probably a decent wage.
It might fucking hit.
Yeah.
It might fucking hit. And after this, guys, we're going to get Chelly on here for NHL. So stick with us after we spin this stupid fucking wheel. Chad, if you guys have any recs, let me know. Let me know in the chat if you guys have anything else. If not, we can just add this shit.
Maybe we put something 2K related in here. Trying to think of what that would be.
Tail Chelly's POD for a week from Kish.
Crazy disrespect from Kish.
That's just a Kish chirp. The POD's hit.
Insane disrespect from Kish.
Fade the Commanders for a month, bro. We've been fading them. How's that been going?
Collab open spot with Primer.
He probably deserves it after cashing. I think he's probably the richest guy in this chat right now after cashing the Cowboys last night. I know we had a fat parlay that smacked.
Maybe you have to just take a trip to the ice, Krabs. Ice POD for a week from Krabs.
I got no problems with that, though. I like betting the ice.
Yeah.
We could do that. Why don't we do only hockey plays for a week? Punishment. Only NHL plays for a week. Definitely going to need to call in the goats like Chelly and Fruity and that, I guess.
Yeah, you're going to need that.
If that ends up landing on that, because I'm going to need some plays. All right. Why don't we spin this wheel and shout out Ron for coming in, giving out a sub. If you guys haven't seen Ron's epic, prize picks lineup, go check that one out on Twitter. Ron Mux Clam. And what's it going to be? That's the worst one it could have landed on, folks.
Oh, my.
That is the worst one it could have landed on.
Get ready to glaze Aaron Judge,
means
Krabs.
That not only do I have to edit and make a fucking video gassing up Aaron Judge, talking about him being the best player on earth, but he plays tonight and I'm fading him. And we're going to talk about that here in a couple minutes when we get to the fucking chalk report. You can't script this shit. You can't script it. Just when you think the wheel might be a little nice, maybe give me a fucking break after yesterday. No. They said the Commanders won. I don't care about your fucking bets. You're doing a judge talk.
We've been waiting on that one for a while.
Shit. And Goots in the back end had something to do with that too. He did.
For sure.
Yeah, surely.
You just know he did.
Surely. Surely I want you to
Snacks.
make talk about it.
Snacks is asking the right questions in chat. He's saying, am I going to the fucking Ravens Commies game on Sunday? Those tickets are $500 a pop. And until they come down, probably not after how Sunday went. So as of right now, no. But we'll see. Judge just hit 500 and GG's. I mean, yeah, me making this talk plus me taking his less than on prize picks equals a nuke.
Krabs,
Why don't we move in, Griff?
I might need the Commanders to not show up this week, bro.
Why is that?
The Ravens got on deck after the Commies. I don't know. They might not be coming to Tampa at this point, but you got Monday Night Football against the Bucks.
Ooh,
which that could be the ultimate narrative spot because that'll be first game for the Bucks post hurricane.
Yeah, back-to-back Bergs for BTL.
Back-to-back Bergs, yeah.
And rumor has it there's another Berg today. But before we get to that and get to the plays, sharp report for today, why don't we get Chelly up in here, up and moving, and get to some NHL talk. We got a big day tomorrow, gents. We've got a couple, I think 3 games on the ice tomorrow, but mainly want to hear from Chelly about his prize pick season-long lineup, the goat whale we got up here, and any futures, any teams he's high on or low on. Chelly, how we doing? Happy Monday.
Sure. Appreciate you guys having me on.
And go to muted as always. Sure.
Quiet as Ma, potentially, Goots.
Sure.
Oh, I can hear him.
Holy. Dwarf mics?
Hold on.
Oh.
Hold on.
I can hear his voice a little bit. Sure. Well, chat, while we get this up and moving, you can see Chelly's goat whale up here on the screen. If you want to lock that puppy in, I've already tailed it. Get involved.
I need to punch that in like Ma.
I was fucking stoked.
Check. Yo.
Whoa, a little loud.
Yo.
Little loud.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay. Okay.
Perf. Let's go, Chelly.
All right, we're good. What's good?
We're good. Yes, sir.
Sorry about that.
Chelly, happy Monday. How we doing? Are you excited for some NHL tomorrow, my man?
Oh, I'm so ready, man. Am I really, really loud? It's okay.
Turn it down a little bit if you can.
Yeah, Goots might have to do that.
Oh, he's got you.
Yeah, I'm super excited for tomorrow. Dude, the first 2 weeks are usually pretty cake for me. As we saw, we traveled to Prague this weekend, went for goals and didn't get it either time. But I mean, that's also Sabre hockey, baby. So we didn't score on a power play for the entire time in Prague. We went 14 days early to Prague, sightseed for 10 days, practiced for a day, and then got our tits blown off by Mikey Overs and the New Jersey Devils. But we don't need to get into a Steam Chelly segment because that's what Steam's Krabs for. But yeah, it was just a tough time watching all these clips of the guys sightseeing Prague and then just getting their tits blown off in the game. It wasn't ideal.
Maybe they weren't locked. Sounds like
Definitely
they weren't.
Not locked, dude.
Well, Chelly, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Sabres, my Caps, and maybe even Jovan's Lightning here in a minute. But first, we do have your goat whale up on the screen here. You want to give us a little bit of a sell job on why you like these 4 gents to do job this season?
Sure. So I'll start with Celebrini. Obviously, we know he was first overall pick. The hype around him is definitely real. The reason I elected to go with points instead of goals is because he's playing on a line with Tyler Toffoli, known absolute goal scorer. I mean, he's went to the Flames last year, excelled with them, scored plenty of Genos with them, and even before then, he was scoring goals for the likes of like the Jets and the Devils. So I'm going with Celebrini because he's playing on Toffoli line, but he also has Eklund as well. I know Javon's pretty high on William Eklund. He has a couple years under his belt now, and he's finally coming into his own. And I think Celebrini's going to be able to find both these guys on his line. I don't know how many goals he's going to score, but I do know he's going to be involved in plenty of Sharks bangs, and I know this is probably getting Jovan going a bit. Seeing even a Shark in my lineup is probably a surprise to a lot of people. But I do think that if I had seen this square for Bedard last year and bought into it, I mean, Bedard was going to hit this even with missing 2 weeks with an injury. So I do really like this square for Celebrini.
Krabs muted potentials.
I like it as well. Nasty square, back in a shit team, but a good player.
Yeah.
I'm in. All right, Bedard. Give me the rundown on him. Why are
Yeah,
we taking the goat?
so like quite opposite of Celebrini. Bedard's line is pretty dog meat. He's playing with Mikheyev, who was like a third liner on the Vancouver Canucks for a long time, and he just isn't. I mean, the Blackhawks in general, their roster is pretty bad. They've made a lot of improvements to that second line with like Taylor Hall, and adding a couple of other guys in. But Bedard's playing with Teravainen and who did I just say? Mikheyev. So those guys are going to look to get Bedard the puck any way they can. And we've already seen Bedard last season. He rips puck. His SOGs are set at 3.5, 4 flat. I mean, when he gets on these tears, he's putting puck on net. And I trust him to be the main goal scorer now. Trust him to be that guy. Just scoring goals on that line. They put him on that line with Teravainen and Mikheyev because those guys can create chances. They can't finish chances. Teravainen's never been a goal scorer in his career. He's always been a guy to set up someone like Aho or set up someone like Seth Jarvis or someone on that Canes team. But now on the Blackhawks, he's going to be setting up Bedard, and they're going to get this kid involved, and he's going to score 35.
All right. Connor Bedard, do your fucking job this year, my man. God, I'm excited to hear your OV sell job here. Why do you think the legend, the greatest hockey player of all time, still looking to break the points record all time, scores more than 30 this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's chasing Gretzky's goal record. I think that was the biggest narrative piece with this one. I've seen people had this locked in at 28.5. It's all the way up to 30 now. I mean, he's got to score, I think, over 30 in the next 2 seasons. I think he's trying to get it done in the next 2 seasons. If he can get, I mean, it would be crazy if he got it done this season. I think he needs like, what, 50, something around there, 50, 60. He needs a lot, and he's projected to take at least 2 seasons. But I mean, this guy doesn't really age. We all know it's like selling, LeBron PRA you know what I mean? Like it's inevitable. That's what I said in my video that I posted. I mean, I absolutely love Ovechkin. I actually really like your Caps this year. I think a lot of people are down on them, but I can go into that a little bit later. But he's playing with Strome and Majipani. Strome, obviously, I'm really high on Dylan Strome personally. He is involved in a lot of the good that came with the Caps last season. There wasn't a ton of good that was with it, but there was a reason the Caps were in playoff contention last year, and it's because Dylan Strome, did a lot of the dirty work and created a lot of chances. So, I mean, Ovi's going to just be getting every empty net opportunity. He's going to they're going to feed Ovi, especially if this season does end up going to shit. They're going to feed Ovi, but even if the season doesn't go to shit, the reason that the season isn't in shit is because Ovi's going to be scoring 30 plus. So either way you want to look at it, this square is in a great spot, even if the Caps suck or even if the Caps are good. So either way you want to look at it, I love this square.
I mean, their owners made it very clear they're not rebuilding or getting rid of the GOATs until Ovi breaks this record. That's the most important thing, more than winning right now. And to be honest, I don't think we're good enough where we're going for a Stanley Cup right now, although I was just impressed to see that squad get into the playoffs last year. That was a win as a fan, in my opinion, with how shitty everyone thought they were. And, I mean, they weren't great, but they got into the playoffs. They did a job, and they still have Ovi. And like you said, Strome is really good as well. So I hope the Caps are as good as you're hoping they will be. And I would love to talk more about them and our squads here after we hear this last sell job. Let's wrap this puppy up. What do you like about our last guy down here?
Matthew Knies. I mean, 18.5 goals. This kid, it's his second season officially playing with the team. And guess who's on his line, Krabs? You know a guy named Austin Matthews?
Sure.
I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. Why would I take a guy on Austin Matthews' line when Austin Matthews is going to score 50 plus goals or whatever everyone predicts is going to score 50 plus goals? Well, maybe that's because the Leafs absolutely love this kid. They stuck him on Matthews' line because they want him to learn from Matthews, but also because he has that natural goal scoring ability. I mean, in the playoffs, Matthew Knies played probably, people would argue, better than some of these big names, Tavares, Nylander, and stuff like that. He always showed up. And now that they're kind of rewarding him, putting him on that top line with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, and I love even more the fact that he is on power play too, for the Leafs, because PP1 has been struggling heavily for the Leafs, and it's, the GOATs, Nylander, Morgan Riley, Mitch Marner, Tavares, Matthews. But with Nyes coming in on that second power play, sometimes that second power play sneakily has just as much production. I know that it doesn't have the big names, but a guy like Matthews Nyes only needing 19 goals on a team like the Leafs playing on that Marner-Matthews line, I think this number is way too low. And I think he just gets involved, and he's my favorite thing about Nyes, and in a way similar to Austin Matthews, right place, right time, and he's just a natural goal scorer. And those are the type of gritty goals that they don't need to be pretty, but just a tip in or deflection in front that falls right to him that he pops right in. Those are the type of goals that Nyes scores. It's not always the most beautiful goal, but I need a natural goal scorer in here. And playing with Matthews and Marner, give me Nyes to score 19. It's keep it simple.
That might be sneakily my favorite square in here from you, Chelly.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely the most like nobody wants to take Nyes on a line with Matthews, so I think that it's probably the grossest.
I think.
Well, Chad loves that square, which is good.
That's gonna be a green square. I love that one, and I think after getting railed pretty much all year because he was absolutely dog shit, I think Marner has a pretty solid year too. That can open up for Nyes.
That line's gonna be sick.
I'm hearing we got some bumpages as well. People are saying,
yeah,
in chat,
dude.
so might be up
I
19
mean,
and a half. Good.
I did put 10K on it, so like, I think that might be why. Yeah, it's like the big. This is also the most. This is the most I've ever put on any bet ever. Not even straight bet, Prize Picks. It's the most I've ever put on, and it's 90% of my Call of Duty coin and Call of Duty winnings. So just keep that in mind.
All right, well, keep your faith. Look, nobody knows it better on the ice than Chell. Let's lock in. Let's have a fucking year. Let's smack a 4-guyserman goat well. Love that you cut it down to 4. You're not asking for the world. You're not asking for 6. Just 4 gentlemen to do their jobs. And you got one goat in there as well. And Ovi, love the sell job on the last guy. I like our chances here, Chell. I'm already locked in. Tail that puppy for 250.
Let's get it.
All right. Dubs. Let's move. Let's groove, chat. I want to ask Chelly a little bit about our squads here. You got started talking about the Caps. I'd love to let you finish here and keep gassing them up, Chelly. You were kind of making it seem like you think they might be sneaky this year, the Caps.
Dude, I mean, I really like the Caps. Sorry if you can hear the dog barking, but I really like the Caps. The thing about the Caps is obviously they're not the strongest offensively this season. I don't think they're going to put up crazy numbers, which is why I'm relying on, a reliable Ovi. But with that being said, their defense is what really, really stands out to me. Obviously, you kept Carlson. Carlson's going to be there every season. He's going to play 26 minutes for you a game. He's Himmy. But Chychrun, I mean, he's very underrated in my opinion. I don't think Chychrun's got a fair shot these last couple seasons, kind of bouncing around ever since he left the Yotes. But Farivari, I'm a big fan of. You got Van Riemsdyk still. You have some really, really solid pieces defensively. And then, dude, I was #1 Darcy Kemper hater. You have Charlie Lindgren, who had obviously exceeded expectations last year. But you also bring in a young kid like Logan Thompson to kind of learn from him and come behind him. Pause. But I absolutely love teams that have 2 goalies where it doesn't matter who you're starting on what night. Either guy can put up a shutout and come through for the Caps, especially when you're that strong defensively. You only need to score 2-3 goals if you're the Capitals, I think, this season to win games. Because unless you play a high power offense that's going to be able to attack your defense, where the Caps are going to struggle offensively, I think. But the Caps are only going to put up or give up 2-3 goals a game against teams like the Kraken, the Utah Hockey Club, the Blackhawks. Caps are going to be able to win ball games. So I really do like them this year. I like them to make the playoffs at plus 155. Ooh. I think people last year counted them out. But I think that's a solid line. And if you're going to give me plus Chicky and Ovi to somehow find a way to take this team to the playoffs, yeah, give me the Capitals to make the playoffs this year.
I like their coach, Spencer Carberry. What are your thoughts on him?
I don't know too much about him, honestly. I just know that they lost what's his face? Who's the old Caps coach? I really liked him.
The ball guy,
Um,
Barry Trot.
Nah, I'm thinking of someone else. I don't know who I'm thinking of.
After
But
him,
the kid,
Levy.
yeah.
Yeah, I like this new guy though, Carberry.
Laviolette.
Aldi.
That's who. Laviolette. Laviolette. That's who I
Sure.
really liked.
This guy Carberry came in though, and nobody believed. He took that team to the playoffs. Their defense was great. I thought they overperformed with a bunch of young guys. I like what he did in year one. I'm excited to see year two.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I didn't expect the Caps to have such a good like when I was going through the lines, like for my preview, I didn't expect the Caps to have such a good defensive line, but they do. They have 3 deep lines.
They still got some goats, some old guys, some fossils out there on the ice. Carlson, Tom Wilson. Obviously Ovi as well. They got some vets to go along with their young crew. I like their chances this year as well. They got a good coach, good team, good org. We'll see if they can make the playoffs at plus 155. What do you think about Jovan's Lightning this season? I mean, they're typically wagons. I'm sure they're minus money to make the playoffs probably this year. What are your thoughts on them?
They're actually like minus 240 to make the playoffs.
Jesus.
And I think that's absolutely insane. Thing about the Lightning this season is a lot of the fan base is actually really freaking mad at the team, and I'm worried that that's going to affect the team's performance. Just because when you lose a fan base, like the way that they did Steven Stamkos, it was probably one of the worst handled things by an organization in recent hockey history. And a lot of the fans were up in arms. With that being said, the talent on this roster kind of speaks for itself. That first line, Gensel, Point, Cooch is top 3, top 2 in all of hockey right now. I mean, those guys are just playing probably at the top of each of their game. I know they're getting a little bit older on the right side of the line, but other than that, this team doesn't really do it for me. And I want to hear Jovan's opinion, obviously, because this is, he's what team he's going to be watching every other night. But that third line is scary. Any team that's starting Cam Atkinson in a spot where they actually need him to do something productive is scary because he was getting benched by the Flyers last year just because he was horrible. And I mean, Jovan, I need to hear your opinion on this team because defensively, there's a lot of worries. Offensively, I'm worried, but I want to hear your opinion.
I'm excited about the Lightning. This is the first time in a couple of years I think I've been fully in on them to start the year. And as much as some Lightning fans might be up in arms about Stamkos leaving, I'm not. I think we should have done this 2 years ago because they've been stuck in fucking purgatory with him being on the roster still. I love Steven Stamkos. He's a Lightning legend, but the reason they couldn't reconfigure that roster in any way is because they couldn't get his ass off the books and they couldn't come to terms with an extension that would fit. So like now that I think it's addition by subtraction. Again, love Stamkos, but I've been waiting for this to happen. Now Gensel, I think, is a big upgrade in that area, not only because he can do the same things offensively that Stamkos can do, but he also is a big, two-way 5-on-5 addition. Stamkos couldn't defend at this point, last couple years, which is huge too. So I think they'll be okay. I'm not as worried about the depth as everybody seems to be. I was a lot last year, which is why when they got hot towards the end of the regular season, everybody was taking cup futures out and saying they're going to be a team to make a run. I pumped the brakes very heavy, and for the most part, I thought they were going to be completely dead, -1 game in that Panther series, and they were. But now I'm excited about them this season, partially too because they needed an off season. Like the team had to figure it out and get healthy. Like Vasi looked like shit when he came back from the back surgery, minus like the couple week stretch where they got hot. He's feeling good coming into this season. Victor Hedman, everybody thinks has fallen off, but now he's the captain who can kind of take a more, personalized role in the offense too, which he loves. So I think this team, it's the one team that's kind of near the top that nobody's really expecting to make a push. I think they're going to be one of the best teams in the East.
All right. Don't let the Lightning get hot. Chelly, any comments on your Sabres? I know you already bitched a little bit about them. Any thoughts about them this season?
I mean, it's shocked.
Already
It's
chalked one
actually
game
shocked, though. It's actually chalked.
Yeah.
We didn't even make it out of Prague, bro. Leave the team in Prague.
Oh my God.
We'll change our names to the Progolo Sabres. I mean, it's actually chalked. We didn't sign a forward in the offseason. Um, yeah, no, this team is horrible. I don't even know where to start. We signed Lindy Ruff because we're like a friendship. It's a friendship league apparently when it comes to the Buffalo Sabres.
Friendship
Um,
signing.
we only
That's
sign
fun.
guys. We don't sign the best coach option. We sign the coach that we used to have because we want to be friends and we want to be on good terms and we can't say no. Well, here's what we can say no to: the playoffs for the last 15 years of my life. So let's figure it the fuck out. I don't know what we have to do, but we have to do it now. That's all I'm gonna
Well,
say.
might be a little too late.
This
One
team's in
game in,
shambles.
unfortunately, there.
Right?
Chelly, I want to ask you before you dip a couple things here. Any teams you're, high on this year that people wouldn't expect, or maybe a little bit lower on that
Yeah.
people think are wagons? Like, do you have any surprises to make or miss the playoffs you want to go over here?
Sure, I have a surprise for both. I'll
Sure.
start with team that I have to make the playoffs at plus 170 this season. I think a lot of people probably aren't going to see this one coming, but give me the Utah Hockey Club to make the playoffs at plus
Wow.
170. Yeah, it's super, super random. I just really like this team offensively, and I think they're going to be in some high scoring affairs this season for sure. You have a ton of youth, and I think that some of this youth last season we saw come to fruition, and this is the season where they kind of put it all together. Obviously, it's Utah Hockey Club now, and then there's a lot of controversy and drama, but I think these kids just want to play hockey, and I think with that, I wouldn't take this team if they were also very young defensively, but they brought in a lot of experience defensively. They brought in Sergachev, they brought in Dursey, they brought in guys, who have been in the playoffs before and have experienced that. And I think that they kind of lead this team from the back. And then the talent that they just have. I mean, these first three lines really is unbelievable. And they're definitely going to be a sleeper team this season to make the playoffs for me. And on top of that, their goaltending is also pretty solid. I mean, Connor Ingram and Vegemelka, either one of them can take over and lead this team to a win. So I'm taking the Utah Hockey Club to make the playoffs at plus 170.
Sure. All right. New year, new name. Maybe they make the playoffs and do something. Sure.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that.
What about a team you think, the people are going to be surprised to hear you don't think they're making the playoffs this year?
Yeah, go ahead and give me the LA Kings to not make the playoffs this year. It's plus 160. The issue with the LA Kings right now is they just lost Drew Doughty. He just got injured and he's going to miss a adequate amount of time. Also, defensively, this team's in absolute fucking shambles. I mean, when you talk about some of the guys that are playing on this second and third line, names that I've seen playing third line for the Sharks last season, and now that they're putting on an LA Kings jersey, what, they're all of a sudden supposed to be fucking good and I'm supposed to be scared? I don't get it. You have a guy who couldn't sniff the third line on the Oilers playing second line with Kevin Fiala now. Well, you think that Fogle all of a sudden is going to turn into an absolute demon? I don't get it. I'm out on this team for the Kings. I'm out on their goaltender and Darcy Kemper. You know a little bit too well, Krabs. This LA Kings team is going to get stomped out, and they're just going to be very disappointing all year. I think it's a good rebuild year for the Kings, and they have some young guys that they're bringing in, trying out, and they have some really, really old guys who they're going to be wheeling out on stretchers, or wheelchairs, before the game. So go ahead and give me the Kings to miss the playoffs at plus 160.
All right. Fading the Kings this year, taking them to miss the playoffs at plus chicken. I like where your head's at, Chell. I do. You're dialed today. Chat's fucking excited. You're getting them absolutely riled up, ready to bet the ice. Before you dip, do you have a Stanley Cup future / any plays tomorrow you want to let the people know about that you're eyeing?
Yeah, I mean, I am eyeing some plays tomorrow for sure. I think that if you want to put in any parlay, you can take the Utah Hockey Club in their home opener. First game at home, new club, new team. They're minus 170. I know it's pretty juicy, but as a parlay piece, just slot the Utah Hockey Club in there. I'm not out. I don't think the Blackhawks are going to be horrible this season. I'm just very high on the Utah Hockey Club. And also, you're giving me a narrative with the new team who is going to show up for their first ever home game as that club or as that hockey team, yeah, I'm going to take them at -170, especially when I'm high on them this year. So that's my play for tomorrow. And then to win the cup, right now, dude, I don't want to take the Oilers, but with that being said, I looked at their lines and immediately thought, who the hell is going to beat this team? I mean, they got stronger in every single line, offensively, defensively. I mean, this team looks unbelievable. But for value purposes right now, I would take the Carolina Hurricanes to win the cup.
The Hurricanes.
Yeah, I know I haven't talked about them too much. They just lost Pesci.
Wow.
But this team sneakily has all the pieces to be a cup team. They just never put it together when it comes time. They'll lose to the Rangers in the playoffs, or they'll lose to the Panthers like they did this season. But they're there every single season, and they're plagued with injuries. And I think this season they stay healthy. I think Freddie Anderson has a good season, like kind of like how Vasi, when he came back, just didn't look the same. I feel like Freddie came back and never really looked the same. I think if he has a good season this season, you also have Piotr, who's unbelievable for the Carolina Hurricanes. And this team, yes, they lost Pesci, but I don't think they still have Burns. They still have guys who can defend.
All right.
Give me the Canes.
Gutsy, if you can put yourself on mute too in the background, that'd be awesome. Chelly, that gives me serious PTSD. Chelly, I'm not gonna lie, because last year I spent so many coins back in that team night in, night out, and they did not come through. Maybe this will be the year. And I'll tell you right now, including myself, nobody in fucking earth wants to bet that team to do anything after what we saw in the postseason last year. So maybe you're onto something there. That could be just nasty enough. It just might work.
Love it. Appreciate you
this
guys.
Might work.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir, Chelly. If the people want to tail your goat whale, I'm sure they could find it probably on your Twitter pretty easily.
Yep.
W's. Awesome.
I do just want to read this chat before I leave. Good evening, Chelly. It is with our heaviest hearts to inform you of this tragic information. At this time, we decided to part ways with this year's NHL Goat Whale. We believe we found a stronger, more qualified candidate to fill our needs on the ice this season. We wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors on the ice this season. Regards, Bookit Sports, Inc. Now,
okay.
Trent.
Crazy.
Trent, how did Najee fantasy score work out for you, brother?
And GG's.
GG's.
All right, chat. W. Chelly, let's get those W's dropping. He gave us a little bit of information, some insight for the NHL season coming up. We got 3 games starting tomorrow. I know we've already had 1 game under our belt over there in Prague, but tomorrow is really the first day on the ice. Excited to get over there and tap in.
I might have to get you involved on some futures Krabs.
Well, futures, I don't know about futures. I'm not even the biggest futures guy, around town. Not a big future dude.
What about just 2 of them, Krabs?
Well, you want to give your little sell job here on these? I'm assuming you want to let the people know what's good.
Well, I talked to you, or I spoke about the Lightning. You know what the Lightning's point total is at for this season after trading away the face of their franchise? A point higher than what they ended with last year.
Damn.
So, I mean, that's Krabs bet in a nutshell. So I mean, I gave
maybe that's why they're minus 250 to make the playoffs, and Chelly was surprised
which
by that?
I think is pretty insane. Granted, all the shit that I heard about that team throughout the offseason so far, but yeah, I like them. That's my favorite over, I would say, and maybe I can get you to the counter with my favorite under real quick.
I'm all ears. What do you got?
I want to fade the Minnesota Wild. I think they're going to be bad, and I'll give you the picture real quick of like just hockey this season, because I don't know how tapped you are, but it's pretty generally agreed upon that all of the really bad teams are at least going to be a little more competitive this season. Like the Sharks are expected to be better. They have Celebrini, so people are excited. The Ducks, I think, have pieces to be excited about, like CBJ, even though the Gaudreau situation's horrible. I think they're going to be a little better this year. That's kind of the thoughts around all the shit teams. So you got to find some of the teams that are kind of mid that I think are going to take a drop off. You're definitely probably not familiar with this, but the Wild are in salary cap hell, and this is the last year before they get that off the books from a couple of very bad deals. They also have Marc-Andre Fleury, who is on his retirement tour this season, so they're probably going to be carrying 3 goalies. One is Fleury on his retirement tour, one is Gustavsson, who probably shouldn't even still be in a jersey, and then one is Jesper Wallstedt, who's probably their future, and I think they'd really don't want to put out there as much as possible. And they have guys like Kaprizov, who should be the face of the franchise, but they don't even know if he wants to be there. They have some aging guys that are very injury prone, like Matt Boldy too is like already injured coming into the season. So I don't want to say it's a punt year for the Wild, but I feel like it could start off very poorly, especially if it feels like their goal is just to get to next year. And I feel like they're going to be sellers come the trade deadline, really no matter what the picture of the year is for them. So I think it's probably my favorite fade. That's a big time fade that I feel like you can get with.
What are the odds there? I can't really see it on the screen.
Well, I was just talking about them to go under their point total, but to miss the playoffs, I think is significantly shorter than I would have expected too.
But you'd rather just take their point total under?
Yeah, which I mean is also alarmingly low.
Huh. All right, I could be convinced on fading the Wild. How often have they been in the postseason of late?
I mean, they're like always that team that kind of hangs around the line. Like I'm trying to think of a team to compare them to, because like you can never be too high on the Wild, but you can never be too low on the Wild.
Maybe the Browns, Jovan?
No, not the Browns.
Well, like they always hover around playoff, like
maybe the Browns like now. It's just
maybe not.
They're always around there. Like they're always like between like the Wild and the Jets, they're always like in the picture to be like some people's like cup long shots, but like nobody ever really thinks they're gonna bottom out. Maybe this Chargers or Steelers, Twins, I guess, could be a decent comp. I don't know. They're just always in the mix. They're never really incredible one way or the other. They've had some really good years, but I mean, last year I would say they pretty vastly overperformed, even though they were dealing with some injuries throughout the season. But now I feel like they're in a tough spot because everything seems to be pointing to next year, and the fact that they're going with Fleury on the retirement tour, and they know they have a couple guys like Faber, and then I think they want to save Wallstedt until they really build up everything around him. I think this year it feels like it could go pretty poorly, especially in that division too.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. I guess they missed the playoffs last year, but before that, they made the playoffs the last 4 years before that. And I mean, they pretty much made it like 9 out of the last 10 years before that. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, they're always just on the cusp.
All right. Maybe this is the year we fade them when they're paying too many people, taking the year off, looking forward to next year. All right.
Yeah. I mean, they've been in salary cap hell because of those deals for a couple years now. Next year is finally when it gets off the books. So like now that they have that and the retirement tour for Fleury, and you got guys already hurt coming into the season, they don't even know if their star wants to be there. There's been trade talks about him, and if the season's not going well, I wouldn't be shocked if Kaprizov is wearing another jersey at the deadline. I feel like there's a lot of ways for the season to go poorly.
Okay. All right. I'm in. Is that like a future that I can bet on the books pretty easily?
Yeah.
Points under?
Point total.
Okay. Well, we got some time. Do they play tomorrow, the Wilds? No, it doesn't look like it.
No.
All right.
I think they play Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, maybe Thursday. Okay. Thursday they open up against CBJ.
All right, we got some time. Why don't we give the people some winners for today and pivot here? W hockey segment, though, and W Chelly coming on here. W futures from Jovan as well. Excited to have the ice back up and moving. All right, we'll get some plays in there tomorrow. I'm sure we'll be talking about those on the Sharp Report tomorrow. I'm sure Jovan will have a hockey play. Get excited, chat. We're back on the ice. All right, lock in. For now, let's pivot. We don't have hockey today. We've got NFL today, and we've got MLB playoffs. Why don't we hop into the Sharp Reports and give the people some of our favorite winners for today? And we can start out with my first play here, and that's the under in Detroit and Cleveland in this first afternoon game on the Diamonds. I tweeted out earlier today, I said we haven't seen an under in the postseason since Thursday. We haven't seen an under in this entire round in the MLB postseason since the wild card. I think we get 2 unders today, and I really like this first under in Detroit and Cleveland. The only reason the over soared in that first game is because Cleveland, I mean, they carried their weight, but if Lane Thomas is hitting fucking nukes for this team and that's what they're banking on to, cash the over, I'm willing to charge it to the game if I take the under in game 2 and they don't come through offensively. And I think Skubal goes out there and shoves once again against Cleveland. And I want to fade Cleveland's offense after putting up a 7-piece in that first game of the series. Didn't really feel like a playoff game. Kind of felt like Cleveland Big Dick Detroit. Looks like the lights were a little bit too bright there for Detroit in that first game. I feel like game 2 will feel more like a playoff atmosphere. The nerves are out the window. Throw them out. Detroit locks back in. They start playing good ball. And this is more of a low-scoring affair like we've seen out of Detroit in recent games. It's going to be more of a playoff feel, unlike the first game. And I'll take the under with this total dropping from 6.5 to 6 after we saw the over in this first game of the series smack. I'll fade both offenses, and I'll back Skubal and pray for my life on the bump fade in the Tigers offense, but they really haven't showed up yet too much. I'm not worried about them, and I'll back Boyd and his legacy performance here in the second half of the season to continue for one more start. One more.
Yeah, I'm in on that.
One more.
And I think the couple things that we've learned from, I don't know, from the past month or so and from last game specifically, the Tigers still struggle against lefties. I know they had the one inning that they scored runs against Framber, but really other than that, past month or so, including the playoffs, they haven't been able to hit a lefty. Matthew Boyd's not going to be out there for 6 or 7 strong like Framber, but he's a guy who knows that team very well, knows that lineup very well. And what did we see in game 1 outside of the Guardians just being dominant? Their bullpen's already damn good, and they match up perfectly with the Tigers' bats. So, like, it's probably going to be, I don't know how long they're going to let Boyd ride, but it'll be however long they feel like is suited. And then if you get to a good spot with the bullpen after that, which you're probably going to, I feel like the Tigers' bats are not going to do much of anything. And you got Skubal on the other side, so you can never really say too much about what a team's going to do against them. So I like that under. I'm with you for sure.
Yep. Dubs. Love this under. Love both unders today, to be honest with you. And I'll just go ahead and rip through this next play. We only have 2 straight bets and 1 prize pick square today. Chat, cut the card down a little bit. Quality over quantity, and there's not many games today anyways. But I'm on the Saints tonight. I've been on the Saints, or wanted to be on the Saints all fucking week, and I'm not hopping off, even if they look like the fake sharp POD tonight. I'm trusting my guns, and I'm sticking with the Saints on the roads, a team that typically plays the Chiefs pretty darn well. And the Chiefs are 4-0 right now, and they've been covering as well. Or at least they've only not covered one time so far this season. I guess you can count that last game against the Chargers as a push. It did close at 7. But I want to fade the Chiefs here at home and back the Saints and back Derek Carr and this offense that I do think shows up today. Didn't want to get involved with that under in this game. I do think we could get some points, especially after last night's game. Shit show under for the first time in a while in a primetime game. Not really in a rush to bet this under, although it is dropping and I lean that way. I just want to fade Pat Mahomes. And I want to fade the Chiefs offense that has not looked so great this season, and back the Saints coming in who are 2-2, who always play the Chiefs very well. The split's not ideal for the Saints, not going to lie, a little bit public, but I'm trusting my guns here and backing Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara and co. and their defense to show up, show out. And chat, people are talking about me taking the less than pick. I'm not taking that shit. I think Mahomes might throw another one in this game. Their offense does not look good. They look off. And they typically do in the beginning of the season, right? Or at least they have in recent years. I think it continues for one more game, and the Saints show up on the road.
Yeah, we can enter Berg on that one, Krabs.
Oh, I know.
But
I'm going to get to your plays. Here we go.
On the diamond.
Sure.
I'll really never forget because, I mean, I didn't even play this, so I can't, like, say I'm not victory lapping it or anything, but I looked at that line in game 1 as far as the total goes for the Royals game, and I was a little surprised because I saw 8s. I even saw an open at 8.5 some places, which I thought was insane. And what do you know? The game absolutely soared over with. I mean, I think those are some of the best at bats we've seen from anybody in the Yankees lineup in God knows how long. I don't think it's going to be the same against Cole Reagans today. Honestly, I was going back and forth between the under and just the Royals on the ML because I think Reagans pitches really well. He's the perfect kind of guy to kind of pitch around like Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, but he matches up so beautifully with the rest of that lineup that, like, I didn't really think Michael Wacha and the bullpen at that point had that matchup in game 1. Now I think he has it. So I think I was waiting to see what the total of this game would be at because I wanted to see if it was just what they were going to value the Royals pitching staff and their bullpen at for the entire series, or if it was a specific matchup thing, which is, I mean, we saw game 1 go over. We saw a lot of games go over. The totals were a lot higher than the wild card round as expected. Now we're starting to see a dip. Now, Reagans is a great pitcher, but Rodon is an interesting matchup too against the Royals. They haven't been the greatest team hitting against lefties really all season, except for when they're at home for like a couple months at the start of the season. I still think Rodon pitches pretty decently well. I think he'll give up a couple, and that'll really be it. And the Royals and Reagans kind of shut them down in this game. So, like, I think this is a Royals win. I think it's a low-scoring win, kind of reminiscent of what we saw in the wild card series against the Orioles, but pretty in on Reagan's today. I think this is there's a reason why it's a 7.5, not just because Reagan's Rodone, but because it's going to be nothing like game one.
Yep. We just got to pray Rodone goes out there and does his job for this under.
Yeah, I kind of think he will. I'm not going to lie. If you can strike out, if you're a lefty and you can strike out or have a pretty heavy strikeout rate and can produce whiffs against the Royals, I mean, you're in a good spot. You'll give up a stray bomb or two, maybe to Bobby or Salvi or whoever random guy in the middle of the lineup, like Renfro's probably going to play or whoever it's going to be. But other than that, I think he pitches pretty well. So I'm on that under. And I am on the Chiefs. Seems to be the bet that nobody wants to take today. And I kind of want to do it, especially at this 5.5 line, which I don't know. In prime time, there's been a lot of games at this line, and it feels weird because it's always sharp. It's always close, just like the Giants shouldn't have hit last week, of course, but there's always some fluke shit involved. And I feel like nobody wants to back the banged up Chiefs, but I feel like they match up pretty well, even though they are banged up. Because in reality, when you're the Saints, they've had a lot of very good matchups in the run game up until last week with the Falcons. And to be honest, they should have won that game too. That's just the Falcons' magic, but. Up until last week, like teams that can stop that little zone scheme, they really kind of shut down their offense. And the Chiefs are, I mean, far and beyond the toughest matchup their run game's had all season. Add on to that the fact that they're still missing their starting center. The O-line's pretty compromised in almost every area. I feel like the Chiefs give them fits on defense. And I feel like Derek Carr is going to consistently be in a throwing game script, which when we've seen that this year, which has been very few and far in between times, he hasn't looked good. He's been a great front runner. Like he's had a couple of these bombs, like against the Panthers, he looked great. Against the Cowboys, he looked great in games that they won in blowouts. But when he's been in a good throwing script, just like last week, you've seen some Derek Carr mistakes. I feel like that's exactly what we get in this game. Add on to the fact that the Chiefs not only, I think, are well positioned to stop the run game, but they're also going to blitz the shit out of the Saints with a banged up O-line. Derek Carr under pressure is not something that I want my coin on. I want to fade. I'll put it on with a prize pick square that we'll talk about in a second, but I like the Chiefs. I'll buy low.
Buy low on the 4-0 Chiefs, who have not looked sharp this season to get it started once again. They really have not looked good in the first, third of the season the last couple years. They have some injuries. Mahomes is throwing picks. People are asking questions. And Jovan says, I'm not scared. I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm taking a -5.5 to cover for the first time since Nam on prime time.
Yeah,
that angle I don't hate. But I do think the Saints, honestly, I'm squaring up a little bit in the spots. I think they come through once again on the roads and cover, and the public cashes once again in prime time. But I hope I'm correct. I could see you being right with the Chiefs here. You're right. I'll give you that. Nobody wants to take them, and they are not a public favorite. So you have that on your side. Okay. I do think the Saints offense shows up, shows out, and this game has potential over written all over it. I would not be shocked, no pun intended there, but I think the Saints offense, like you said, they have not looked really sharp since week 2. I think we see some flashes of that against this Chiefs defense on the road here when people are least expecting it there. Maybe the over is the play in this game, but I don't want to take the Chiefs, who are undefeated. I think they've got a loss coming up, and it could be Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, and the Saints tonight. See how it plays out. All right. Prize pick squares. Let's get to them. And can't make this shit up. I got to make a judge TikTok later. And what do you know? The first time I put him on the Sharp Report plays in a month, and he's here. Aaron Judge, less than 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Jovan, I love the under in that game, by the way. I was going back and forth between both MLB games on which under I wanted to take and put on the Sharp Reports. I took the first one. Love that you took the second one. I do think that smacks as well. I think we get both unders today after we haven't seen an under hit in this round in the MLB postseason. Haven't seen an under since the wild card on Thursday. I think we get 2 today. And I think Aaron Judge, once again, just like he did in game 1 of the postseason, looks like a deer in the headlights. Looks like Sam Darnold in the fourth quarter against the Jets. Looks like a guy who, when the lights are too bright, he forgets how to swing a baseball bat. Did anybody get a chance to watch Aaron Judge's at-bats in game 1 in this series? Anybody raise your hands? I did. I watched him. Anybody else in chat get to watch Aaron Judge's at-bats in that first game? They were fucking terrible. They were absolutely terrible. Sure, he got on base with a walk and scored. Great. Awesome. Cool. Party. Great. He's the greatest player of all time. Fucking awesome. He got on base on a walk. His other at-bats were absolutely atrocious. Terrible. Terrible. He looked like the guy who, in recent seasons would be the most inconsistent hitter in baseball and forget how to swing a baseball bat at times for a couple weeks during the season. He looks like that guy in the postseason. And I want to fade him once again tonight against one of the best starting pitchers in baseball and a sketchy bullpen to come in and close it out, hopefully a righty, against Aaron Judge. I think once again, he stays off the hit column in game 2 of the postseason and looks like shit at the plate, like he's swinging with a fucking blindfold on because it's Aaron Judge in prime time when the lights are bright and this guy doesn't show up. Soto does. Okay, that's why they paid him all the big bucks to come in here. Or they will, I guess, after this offseason. Juan Soto is the guy who shows up in the clutch. That's why he got 2 base hits in that first game. Aaron Judge, once again, when the lights are bright, the pressure's high. He's not showing up. He's not doing shit. And I honestly don't even think they're going to pitch to him anyways. Side note, real baseball brain-wise, why the hell would you pitch to him? Pitch around him. No need. Take the less than 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. This is smacking in an under game script where they're probably losing as well.
2 walks, no runs. I'd be in for that, Krabs.
Sure.
It's a possibility. It actually is.
Sure. Yeah. All right, let's see your square that you crafted up today. What do you like?
Going Juwan Johnson today. And I'm praying he doesn't do too much beyond this because I think I'm playing Josh in the Bookit League and he's starting him and I'm up 20. So God forbid this is the random Juwan Johnson 50-yard 2-tutty game. I'm probably in rat shit, but I mean, it's hard not to like a spot. I assume you're probably going to see this by the time we get to game time, probably a decent bit on Twitter, but I'm not really all that scared off. Partially for the same reason, like the Chiefs are going to play a ton of man coverage, not as much as last year, but they're going to play a ton of man coverage. They're going to blitz the shit out of Derek Carr, and he needs a kind of a safe option. And a lot of people are probably going to take this because Taysom Hill is out. Not that I don't think his role is really going to affect Juwan Johnson as much as people think, but I want to take it because of the game script portion. Obviously, like the easy answer would be checkdowns to Kamara. I think the Chiefs have done a really good job at shutting that down from a lot of teams, really for the most part in their season so far. They've shown some vulnerability to tight ends. And for Juwan Johnson, I feel like he has to be a big part of this game because that's how you attack the Chiefs. And if Derek Carr's under pressure, I feel like he's going to be a safety blanket option. So I feel like his ceiling, is pretty high in this game. So I will take this line. And I'm only an added plus that Taysom Hill is not in. So in the red zone, I feel like he's going to be a pretty big part of the offense too, which they kind of need. They're going to score points and score touchdowns.
I'm hearing rumors he might have already gotten bumped up to 20.5. I need to check the Carfax on that myself, but
it's a fat bump. Really doesn't matter.
We love bumps though in this economy. We do.
I mean, Juwan Johnson's either going for 40 or he's not sniffing rock. And obviously I don't think he's not sniffing rock.
22.5 on Blue Book. Rumors are swirling where people love locking in those props. Okay.
That's like I think this is like a Jonnu Smith demon right here. Like where I have no issues going to it.
Also, people forget if that fucking Trevor Lawrence square doesn't get taken off the fucking boards. I was going to bless the people with a 4-man NFL geyserman that fucking smacked over the weekends that involved 2 of your squares too. I'm just remembering this now. Brian Thomas, Jaden Daniels, Kyler Murray, Sam Darnold. That 4-piece hit.
Wow.
1,000.
Wow.
Fuck, man. Sam Darnold, you came through. He threw 0 passing touchdowns. He stunk. He stunk in that game. Kyler Murray, free, easy, 25 fantasy score, sure. Jaden Daniels, 49.5 rush yards. How about 82? Does that work? Does that play? That soars over. And then Brian Thomas hit in the first quarter. That was the easiest Prize Picks lineup of all time. Of all time. Shit. Well, let's hope our squares are like that today. And we're hoping we're dialed in again. Okay. And I'm down to start talking about, the squad ride here in a moment. I know we're kind of at a Battle Berg there with the NFL game, but we've got some options with baseball as well. Why don't we go ahead and hop over there, Jovan, and get the squad ride started. We'll take our time here today. I want to keep that record pristine for October. Gucci, run that shit. I want to see that train. All right, chat. We did lose the squad ride last night on probably the worst play of the week on the Browns. Can't fucking make it up. Unbelievable. Jovan, I'm not mad. It's just fucking hilarious how that's the fucking one that cucks us.
You should be.
I liked it too. I like the play too. Not gonna act like I didn't. But we are 5-1 this month on squad rides after our worst month ever in September. Jovan, I would love to keep this record pristine, clean, and add another win to that left column here. Where do you think we start? Maybe it's with both unders in the baseball game.
Yeah, I feel like those are kind of our only options.
Yep.
Can't go to Berg.
Acting like we have 700 plays.
Yeah, I mean, those are...
We have 2.
Literally it.
Right now. Now, some other angles here today. I mean, I do lean the under in the NFL game, but I'm a little bit worried. And I think if the Saints cover, I wouldn't be surprised if the game does go over. So I'm not in a rush to take it. WNBA, We got any games tonight? Nope.
I think they play
Nothing.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Might just be these two plays, quality over quantity, and just keeping it to MLB unders. Or we could get cute and try to add another play in here as well. We could pivot, maybe put in a side in a baseball game we like, or something different in the NFL game. Not opposed to anything. Ears are open. Do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I would lean both dogs. I'm probably not going to get there because I don't want multiple plays in both games, but
Yep.
I do like both dogs in the MLB.
Yep. I think we just keep it simple. We haven't picked between these two no fun unders. As much as I hate to say it, man, I want to win. I want to win. And I don't want to put something in here that's more fun that we weren't even going to take in the first place that loses. I'll be so pissed tomorrow if that happens. We cannot be doing that. No.
Yeah.
Why don't we keep it to 2 plays, 2 unders? We haven't seen an under this entire round in the postseason. We haven't seen an under since Thursday, chat. And you guys pick which one you want. I don't mind that. Jovan?
Yeah, I mean, I have no issues. I like
We
both those
could put
unders.
in
Didn't
a
in game
player
one.
prop if you want.
You know, I really would like to because I feel like we have some potentials that are hitting, but the history Krabs.
Yeah, I don't think we've hit one.
We gotta respect squad ride lore, unfortunately.
Yeah, when you try to pivot, you try to get too cute. The gambling gods, they smite you. They drop a hammer. Gosh, man. All right, why don't we keep it to 2 plays? All right, I'm sure the chat, I can tell they want Jovan in that thing, but we'll keep respecting the rules here. We don't want to piss off the gambling gods. Trust me, okay? They're already pissed off after seeing my card from yesterday. Absolute moose. Why don't we keep it to 2 plays, 2 winners, 2 wagers we know we're going to already take anyways, quality over quantity, and let the chat decide. All right, 2 plays I know we're taking. Both unders on the diamonds. I know we're not agreeing on the gridiron. We'll see how that game plays out. I do want this on record as well. I saw that Derek Carr is up as, I don't know if it's a taco or discount or whatever on Prize Picks, but Derek Carr passing yards. A little bit surprised to see he was the taco. Not a great sign for the Saints.
Yeah,
Do you want that on record?
Odd, because I feel like that's their only path to like beating or contending against the Chiefs. Like he's gonna have to throw the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Kamara squares aren't making it seem like he's going to drop 100 piece on the ground. I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean it's
Weird.
it's the toughest matchup he's had by far all year.
Yeah, when I saw that boost, you know, I started to come back around to that under, but like I've already talked about on here, a little bit worried about the Saints offense showing up and that Chiefs defense playing bad for the first time really this season. I could see it with Derek Carr, but I'm a little bit worried about that discount on Prize Picks. Full transparency.
Yeah. Fair.
Here's what I do know, though, chat. We've got 2 MLB unders that are not fun, but they're smacking. And you guys get to pick between them for the squad ride for today. Not a lot of options, quality over quantity. I mean, not a lot of games today anyways, Jovan, so I feel like they understand. 2 plays, 2 winners. The under in the Yankees and Royals game, under 7.5, and the under in the Tigers and the Guards game, under 6. And that game does start up in 2 hours, chat, so you can keep that in mind if you want. But like I always say, pick the right button. Click the winner. I want to see the squad rides at 6-1 for this month when I hop on here tomorrow. Me and Jovan, same time, same place. You know what I mean? Need it. Don't want it. Need it. Looks like that under in the Yankees game might squeak by. Not surprised.
Might squeak.
Might squeak.
Getting some steam though.
Yeah. Look, Scooball, I think, goes out there and shoves. I mean, what do we know about Matthew Boyd? He's kind of in that boat as well, of a veteran guy who's just kind of figured it out, made some changes. They've worked. He's stuck with it. And as of right now, he's one of the best lefty pitchers in baseball. Now, I do think the magic will run out here for Matthew Boyd and this Guardians rotation down the line. I really don't want to keep backing him. But today, against the Tigers, who still haven't scored in the series yet, feel like they could get stunted a little bit by the veteran Matthew Boyd. And I know a lot of the guys in that lineup are younger guys. So I'll take my chances with the vet there, and then I'll back the absolute beast workhorse and Scooball to go out there and do job.
Yeah.
Once again.
I mean, I really like the way that Matthew Boyd and the Guards bullpen sets up today. So I mean,
we could both agree the bullpens for an under significantly better in this first game today, but that's one of the easiest, most common sense thoughts that anybody could have when they open up the board, right?
Yeah.
First game, bullpens. I mean, Tigers and Guardians, you don't find bullpens much better than those. Kansas City, New York. Ugh. Jesus.
It's a little tricky.
But my
I trust him,
contrarian
though.
brain, you know what that makes me think? Probably like the Yankees won even more there.
Yeah.
Would
you're
you
getting
look
your
at
shot,
that, Jovan?
Krabs. Rare.
Would you
Rare
look
chat
at
going
that,
with a Krabs
Jovan?
play.
Huh. After a tough Sunday, although the Commanders did win, so I can't bitch too much, Jovan, I love to see the chat trusting, putting this under in this puppy, and we're going to see how it plays out. We'll meet you guys at the cash counter when the Guards and the Tigers game starting up in 2 hours, by the way. Here's your last notice. Early start for the squad ride. 2 hours. Love that I'm getting a chance here. Buy crab stock low. Buy crab stock low. Shit day yesterday. Good day Saturday. Not prize picks wise, but book plays. Buy low. Okay, we're locking in. We're hitting a fucking play on the diamond. We haven't seen an under since Thursday. Love that we're buying into the first game we've seen after only 2 games yesterday. Let's get this under 6. Nastily low total. Crazily low total for a reason. Okay, we'll meet at the cash counter after it smacks. Jovan, W play, W day. Great work today, my man.
W's.
Great work. W Goots as well. We appreciate you, my man. W Ravens win. I'll give you that. All right, you son of a gun. The Ravens once again pulled it out. And Gootsy, I'm excited for this weekend. All right, Ravens versus Commanders, must-see TV. I know you're excited as well. Big game this weekend. Already thinking about it. Tickets could not be more expensive. And if you're buying tickets this week, buy them on SeatGeek, will you? All right, squad ride, Tigers, Guardians under. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.